Hello you guys, happy Halloween. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the Halloween killer, also known as Gerald Turner. Gerald Turner murdered 9-year-old Lisa French Halloween night in 1973. Now before I dive too deep into this video, make sure you subscribe if you would like. You could also comment below which true crime case you want me to research next. Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to anyone that I talk about in this video. Let's get started. To set the scene, the night is October 31st, Halloween, 1973 in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Lisa French, the sweetest little girl, was just 9 years old and was super excited for trick-or-treating. She had been waiting for this day for so long. She originally wanted to dress as a butterfly for Halloween, but it was pretty cold. You know, it's starting to get deep fall, early winter vibes. So she decided to be a hobo last minute. She had on like a big floppy hat and a dark jacket. So the 70s were a very like carefree time. Kids could go out trick-or-treating alone and it wouldn't be an issue. This still occurred like even just a couple years ago. But now it's kind of a little more skeptical to let your kids trick-or-treat alone, especially if they're like younger. Like, I guess it would be fine if you're like a little older, you're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of how to stay safe and stuff like that. But she was 9, like she was a little kid. So, but I mean, it didn't really matter. It was the 70s and she was gonna go trick-or-treating alone at 6 p.m., which is right around when it got dark. The sun sets like 6:30, 6:40. So she was prepared to go out. She had to be home at 7 p.m. this night because her and her mom kind of got into a little bit of an argument. Lisa was being kind of sassy this day, which is why her mom didn't let her go to the pumpkin place with her friend. Now, the pumpkin place was created for kids in the neighborhood to go, and like some of the parents like helped set it up, and it was just like a safe environment so that way kids wouldn't be eating candy that literally had like razors in it, because that is always an issue. But her mom was like, no, you can only go to a few houses in our neighborhood. You're not going to the pumpkin place with your friends. You're gonna go here in the neighborhood, be home by 7, which is literally only time for a few houses. So Lisa left at 6 p.m. super excited, and she only had time to go to 3 houses in her small little neighborhood. The first house was one of her teachers, the second house was a classmate, and the third house was Gerald Turner. Now, she went to Gerald's house because she actually knew them personally. They used to like live in one of those like duplex houses, I think, where they're like connected. So she knew Gerald and his girlfriend. Sometimes she would go over there and talk to him. So she went to his house, asked for some candy, and by 7:30 Lisa was still not home, and her mom started to panic because at first she was like, we got in a fight, she probably just wants some extra candy, no big deal. But after 7:30 passed and then time continued to pass, her mom was completely panicked, and an entire search party throughout the neighborhood and the whole county started for Lisa. After just a few hours, the entire county was covered in pictures of Lisa, and everyone was searching because this community was very like close. And also, it was Halloween, and this could have easily happened to anybody else's kid. Do you know what I mean? So after a couple days, November 3rd rolls around, and everyone for the past like 3 days has been searching for Lisa in like grass areas, rivers were drained, all the stuff like that. So a farmer was riding his tractor home at 11 a.m. when he came across 2 trash bags that were on the side of the road. He went a little closer to them and eventually realized that it was Lisa's body and her clothes. So authorities came and checked the scene out and then broke the news to her parents that 9-year-old Lisa had been murdered and left on the side of the road in trash bags, which is just so degrading. It's like disgusting. So the funeral of Lisa French was held on November 6th, and the entire community showed up, including all of her classmates, all of her Girl Scout friends, to this 9-year-old girl's funeral. And like, I don't know, that's just crazy to me. Like, imagine going to the funeral of your classmate who's 9. I can't imagine what everyone in that community was going through. So there's not really a lot of information on how authorities were tracked to Gerald Turner, but you can assume it's either just from him being like suspicious or them leading down the timeline and finding out that the last house that Lisa had went to was Gerald Turner's. So after like 9 months of questioning and stuff like that, Gerald Turner confessed to the murder of Lisa in 1974, August 8th. But when the trial started, he completely denied ever confessing to this, and he just like pled not guilty, but they didn't care. Like, they already had way too much information on him being guilty. Like, he knew details about the crime that nobody else would know except for the killer, so obviously he was still convicted as guilty. And this is when the story of how Gerald sexually assaulted and murdered 9-year-old Lisa comes into play. So on Halloween night in 1973, Gerald Turner, he was very sexually motivated in what he had done to Lisa. So when she knocked on his door, trick or treat, he invited her inside and proceeded to sexually assault her. His girlfriend wasn't home at the time, so she like wasn't a witness. Like, there was no involvement of her being in this. So after he sexually assaulted her, he realized she wasn't breathing, and he tried to revive her. He claims he had no intention of killing her, that it just kind of happened. Like, he just looked down and she wasn't breathing. So at about 7:15, Turner's girlfriend came home, and so Gerald hid Lisa's body, I think either in the bathroom or somewhere in the bedroom, and he was sitting on the couch, came home, his girlfriend and his daughter, because the girlfriend had actually taken his daughter to the pumpkin place, because like I said, that was like a really safe place for kids this year. And they returned home at 7:15. So this is like, you can clearly see the timeline. She was supposed to be home at 7. She wasn't. She was confirmed to be dead by at least 7 p.m. Probably before that, from what I'm guessing. And then when Gerald's girlfriend got home, he told her that he wasn't feeling too good. He kept getting up like randomly and going into the bedroom and then going into the bathroom and then coming back out and being like, I don't feel good, and then doing it over and over again. And it was like weird, but it's because he wanted to make sure that she didn't come into the bedroom or the bathroom and find Lisa's body. Like I don't clearly the girlfriend didn't like find that suspicious. She probably just thought he was feeling sick and acting weird. But eventually she left, which is when Gerald disposed of Lisa's body, put it in trash bags, dumped it over the fence on the side of the road. The most disturbing part of this case is the autopsy report. So it came back that she died of shock during the sexual assault because she was literally so scared of him and like what he was doing to her that she just died. Like she could not survive what she was going through, which I think is so sad. Like I cannot imagine that. Like that just breaks my heart. And I've known about this case for a couple of years now, and I constantly think about that, and I think about like how terrified she must have been, and I just feel so During the trial, Gerald showed no remorse and was sentenced to second-degree murder. In 1992, he was released after only serving 17 years, and he went to like a halfway house. Like on parole. Now, everyone in the community, including authorities, protested that Turner goes back to jail. Like, he's literally a threat to society. I don't know why he's not in jail. Do you know what I mean? And then in 1993, a civil lawsuit was filed by the citizens who were protesting against Gerald being released. And a literal law called Turner's Law was created to keep him in a mental institution or jail because he was a threat to society, and this was like their last attempt at getting him to stay behind bars and not be free to society, because at this point he had been freed for so long, which is disgusting. This law basically shows that sex offenders should be put in a mental institution if they're a threat to society, because they just do not deserve to be out in public when they are so sexually like, when they're a sexual offender. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, they shouldn't be in society. So in 1998 he was freed again. The law literally couldn't hold him. That was a law made for him, because the jury decided he was not a sexual predator. And then women who he had previously sexually assaulted came forward and said that he sexually assaulted them when they rejected him. But still, the jury was like, he's still not a sexual predator. He's still not a threat to society. So they just let him go. He was like living in a halfway house still. And in 2002 to 2003, authorities went to the halfway house to like check on him, kind of part of like parole. And they found a lot of indecent images and videos, which is a violation of his parole. And they also found like true crime serial killer videos and like very graphic murder videos, which shows that he's like intrigued by that, which is not good considering he is a sexual predator and murderer. So he was sentenced to 15 years of jail for violating his parole. Fast forward to 2018, he has a mandatory release date for 2018. But the authorities and Lisa's family started up a petition to keep him behind bars. And there's not really a lot of information past this point. I think there was a hearing set 2 days ago, I want to say. It literally got pushed back even further to 2020, which was 2 days before the 47-year anniversary of Lisa's murder. And I've done as much research as I can to find the results of this hearing and to see if he is currently still serving time in jail or if he's in a mental institution. But I've been unsuccessful at being able to determine where he currently is. I'm assuming the court has to come up with a verdict, which might take a little bit of time, which in my opinion, it shouldn't take any time. He's literally a sexual predator and he murdered a 9-year-old girl. And it's proof that he has sexually assaulted many other women. So if the verdict comes back that he's free, that's disgusting. But luckily Lisa's family is working so hard to try to keep him behind bars. Along with the Department of Justice, they are working so hard to keep him locked up. And the citizens, he has somehow gotten away with so much. Like every time he does something wrong, the court is just like, whatever, like you can be free. Like he's been put back into society so many times and has violated his parole, but they just don't care. Like the fact that there was a law made for him that he literally couldn't be sentenced to shows that there's something wrong with the way they are taking control of this case and taking control of how Gerald Turner should be behind bars for the rest of his life. Like, I don't understand. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Hopefully we get the results back from the hearing soon. If they're already up and I missed that information throughout my research, I'm so sorry. I tried to find it, but there's nothing so far. I do want to say I think he was in jail as of 2019. So yeah, I can't confirm if he's still in jail at the moment, but I do think the hearing results will come back soon. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos from me, I have a true crime playlist that I'll put here or like at the beginning of the video. And I also post a bunch of other different types of content as well. If you guys want more true crime videos, let me know, and you can also leave suggestions down below. I love you guys. Please stay safe this Halloween. And also follow me on all my social medias. They are always in the description box. Yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Deuces.